Hey, I'm Dr. Tieche with our MedMinute question of the week. This question comes really from our staff and a lot of our patients. This question we get asked all the time. How does Recharge's vitamin IVs different from other clinics? And why do they seem to work better? And so the real main reason is when we started Recharge Clinic, we had to make our IVs from scratch as far as the ingredients. So in other words, we bought the best B12, the best vitamin C, the best multivitamins, the best trace minerals, all of those, and we combined those together. So right now we have a team of pharmacists and pharmacy technicians that make these IVs under a sterile hood. So each IV is individually prepared with these best quality products. That's one thing that makes it separate, because other clinics who just do onesie twosies of these vitamin IVs buy them pre-made up. So they buy a pre-made up solution that has all of those vitamins in them, but they're not the same. For example, what is the big one that's not the same? The B12. Most people use hydroxy or cyanocobalamin. That is the least effective of it, but it's also the cheapest. So we use methylcobalamin. Methylcobalamin has the highest absorption and it has a methylated vitamin. So methylated vitamins are great for detoxing and they're great for liver stuff. So that's why we use that. And that's why people feel different after they get an IV at Recharge. They actually feel better. They feel everything saturating those cells and they get that nice feeling of wellness from it and euphoria, which is what we want. So we stood by that from the beginning. We never decided to compromise in any way. Yes, a lot of products come along that are a little bit less expensive, but for our vitamin IVs, we have stayed true to that. We have always used the highest quality products. We put them together ourselves with our qualified pharmacy staff. They're done under a sterile hood. So in other words, they're done in a sterile procedure and they're all made up individually. The same with our vitamin shots as well. That difference alone makes the quality of those vitamin infusions much better. So in other words, you would have to get multiple of the other ones to get the same effect as one of ours. And it's not just me saying that. Of course, I like to toot my own horn, but I can tell you after a patient says that, we ourselves, Cynthia and I, go to other IV clinics when we're in different areas and get vitamin infusions to see what they're like. And we watch them over and over again. They're just people that work there. They pulled out that little vial out of the cabinet and shoot it in. We know it's not going to be that great, but we want to see if there's anyone. But the problem is most people don't have the support staff or probably the interest in doing that high quality. Unless you're a high volume vitamin IV center, you're not going to do that because it doesn't make sense to do it. They would have a lot of waste and they'd have to throw a lot of stuff away. So in their defense, they have no option. And so they buy these things pre-made up. Just it's like getting pre-made meals. You could get some good ones or some bad ones, as opposed to cooking your dinner with all organic, fresh foods. That's really the best analogy I can use. And that's really the difference between them. And that's why people remark over and over again about why our vitamin IV are so much more effective. So that's our Med Minute for the week. And I hope you guys have a great weekend.